In Battlefield, the best weapon setup isn't always what wins you the match. While meta builds get a lot of attention, especially from content creators, the game's class system and its unique abilities often have a much bigger impact on your success. Today, we're breaking down why focusing on your class role, not just your gun, can make you a far more effective teammate. Battlefield has always had well-defined classes that help dictate your role in each match, and Battlefield 6 is no different. Currently, there are 4 classes to choose from: Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon. The Assault class is your classic run-and gun fragger and allows you to carry 2 primary weapons. It also equips you with a stim shot so that you can quickly heal and get back into the action. This is the least helpful class when it comes to teamwork and is likely the kind of class someone coming over from COD would select. If there's one class that somebody who is in search of meta weapons is going to choose and try to be a movement demon, it's going to be Assault. They do get a spawn beacon, which can be helpful to get you back into the action, but the class is primarily centered around taking as many gunfights as possible. Engineers are the unsung hero of vehicle warfare because for every player dropping 40 kills from a tank, there has to be an engineer with the ever important blowtorch. While engineers can heal vehicles, they are also incredibly important for destroying enemy vehicles with the rocket launchers at their disposal, both for land and air vehicles. If you get frustrated because you can't take a flag due to a vehicle patrolling it, make sure to switch over to engineer and wipe it out and help your team do the same with your own tank. Support can truly make the difference in both offensive pushes and defensive holds, as losing gunfights doesn't necessarily mean you have to respawn. They have the option to quickly revive and drag away, or charge paddles to get you back to full health so you can get back into the action. A dedicated medic can keep a push going by quickly reviving multiple teammates. They also come equipped with a resupply bag, allowing you to replenish ammo after numerous gunfights. Recon is your classic sniper class, but provides utility to the team by spotting out enemies across the map. While the ability is more passive than skills within the engineer and support classes, it can be incredibly helpful when pushing towards an objective to know where the enemy is shooting you from. Not only that, but an effective sniper can make pushing into open areas that much easier by providing long-range fire. The best part is you're not locked into certain weapons in order to get the benefit of the abilities, though you won't get the inherent boost for the signature weapon applicable for each class. But don't let that stop you from trying out different combos. This ability to mix and match playstyles with abilities and weapons is why picking a metagun doesn't always make sense, because every engagement requires a different mix both from yourself and your team depending on the objectives and maps. The biggest difference between Battlefield's gun customization and Call of Duty's Gunsmith is that in Battlefield, the changes you make to the weapon are more out of preference for the way you want the gun to feel, rather than equipping attachments to drastically increase its effectiveness. The biggest decision you make when it comes to your weapon in Battlefield is whether it's an assault rifle for medium-range engagements, a shotgun for close quarters, anti-vehicle weapons like an RPG, or trying to use a sniper to pick people off at distance. In COD, no matter what weapon you're using, there's a clearly defined meta due to how impactful the weapon attachments can be. For myself as a sniper, it's incredibly important that I find attachments to improve the aim down sight speed, because the time to kill from Call of Duty is so quick and every map feels rather small in comparison to Battlefield. Don't get me wrong, I love finding these meta builds and it's been the main driver of my growth in content creation. But that doesn't mean every game needs meta builds. It's honestly refreshing to jump into a series where the guns don't make a huge difference between winning or losing, but rather it's the choices you make as a player, squad, and team that lead to victory or defeat. Just because I have an assault rifle doesn't mean that I'm going to lose to a shotgun every time, because even if I do, there's a medic behind me that can revive me, meaning the team composition matters most. You could frag out with 60 kills in a Battlefield match and be in the middle of the leaderboard when there's an engineer healing a tank that's holding down the C flag for the majority of the game. The unlockable attachments like the sights, magazine, ammunition, and more are a great incentive to continue to play with a certain weapon. I would be upset if they took that away, because finding a new build and playing around with slug rounds on a shotgun instead of buckshot is a ton of fun for me. However, just because you want to use an M4 over an SMG doesn't mean you're now going to get out-fragged in every gunfight. The lack of meta builds is something that, in my opinion, has defined the Battlefield series for the better. While in COD, it leads people to not think for themselves and only search up the best loadouts. There are so many different ways to play Battlefield, especially with the abilities from the 4 classes, that you can swap in and out with your favorite guns that can lead to a huge difference in gameplay experience match to match. Not to mention the different modes like Conquest, Rush, and Domination, which require different playstyles between these as well. You need to be open to changing your weapon, class, and even your playstyle as each match progresses. COD matches can be dictated by one player dropping a massive amount of kills, but in Battlefield, you're competing against a team of 32. As a solo player, it's not feasible to be as effective at swinging matches as it is in a 6v6 match. The lack of a ranked mode also leads to a lesser focus on gun balancing in favor of tuning the overall gameplay experience. The goal in Battlefield is to crank up the fun factor as much as possible while creating an immersive gameplay experience that feels more like a battle and less like a sporting event. The point is not for everything to be balanced. You're literally going to round the corner and see a tank. Balancing that against your bunny hopping isn't gonna happen. Instead, take a more relaxed approach to gaming and allow yourself to sit back while taking everything in. Let yourself get lost in the fun of games that was so common when you first started playing for the fun of it and not to climb the leaderboard. Trust me, you'll be glad that you did.